Hey, what's up, guys? Today we are talking turkey, and specific turkey feathers. Well, really, a turkey fan. Today we're going to be building a mount for my nephew's turkey fan. We're going to be using just an old piece of barnwood, this beautiful fan that he brought me, and we're going to turn it into that. So if you're a hunter, you're going to love today's video, and if you know a hunter, this would make a great gift for them. So sit back, relax, and let's get going. So he sent me a picture of a mount that he was kind of interested in doing something sort of like, and it's going to have a kind of a rounded circle that is the backdrop of all these feathers. And so now the back of that circle will be hidden by the back of the fan. The bottom of the circle is going to come out underneath the fan. It's going to have a small shelf across where he can sit a shotgun shell or anything else he wants, really. And then it'll have a small circular piece that covers where the fan was cut off and the kind of the exposed area there. So we'll just leave the nice looking feathers coming up. So that's what we're going to be working on. So we're just going to get over here to the table saw is the first thing we're going to do, and we're going to kind of cut some sections off to use for our circles. Now I said one circle, one big circle. It's going to be two semicircles of the same size that will go on the top and bottom of our shelf. So we're going to go that route first. We're going to get everything cut down to the sizes we want, and then we'll have our pieces to start making our shapes, if you will, out of. Wood, so decided just to use the old school compass. So there's one. And we want about 10 inches on the bottom, so we're going to measure at the 5-inch mark here, and then we'll just do the same thing we did before. We'll start our compass and we'll go all the way around our 10. So we got our two larger circles kind of drawn out. The same thing on this one. We said we wanted about a 7-inch span. I'm a little shorter than that, so we're going to do a 6.5 instead of a 7. So we're going to give ourselves that much room to cut out. We'll mark out 3.25 from each side. We'll change our compass. We'll draw a circle. We're going to head to the bandsaw and get our circles cut out. Now I'm hoping when you get this all barnwood, one thing you run into is sometimes you get into kind of a sensitive area. These don't look like they're too bad in terms of cracks on the edges. We've got a few pieces, like right here you can see where we get a little thin. So we'll see how those come out. If it happens to break off a little bit, we'll just adjust and change our shape a little bit. So no big deal there. All right, so now we're just going to take these, we're going to clean them up a little bit with our sander, and we're going to see and make sure they're, I'm happy with how they're going to line out and measure on the fan. And once we get that going and we make sure we're happy with the thicknesses and the way they look, then we'll work on our little small shelf. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do something with these edges. So you can kind of see when you hit this barnwood with the sander, it catches the top part, smooths them out, and then you still got the different coloring on the bottom or on the lower recessed areas. So it really gives it a cool effect. Even better when you clear coat it later, which is what we'll end up doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these kind of cleaned up. I'm going to go through, and sometimes you get some cobwebs and things down in the little pits and the old nail holes. So I'm going to clean that up off camera so we don't have to take up your time with that. And then once I get all three of these cleaned up, we'll get back on here and take a look at what we got. So I think what I decided I'm going to do is just hit the edge of these semicircles with the router table, do a little bit of a round over bit with maybe a small lip, and that'll give it actually kind of it'll pattern the turkey feather, or the turkey fan, I should say. So I think that'll look pretty good, and we'll just, of course, touch it off a little bit of sandpaper once we get done on the edge. But we're going to knock that out, and then we'll be ready to work on our shelf.
Hello?
So, you called like a while ago. Yeah. Working. What's up?
I called you like an hour ago to let you know I was headed home.
Well, hey, you ought to be seeing me. I'm standing on top of the workbench.
You're standing on top of the workbench?
Yeah, I'm keeping to turn my camera on and off. I'm trying to film from overhead. So I got it on stand.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm about to pull in the driveway.
Well, alrighty. I'll see you in a second.
All right. Bye.
All right, so let's work on our shelf. Now we've got this piece left. We know we want kind of a solid piece across. Let's see how much room we need and how much length we want on this. About 9 1/4 or so. So that's going to give us the ability to cut it off and have our pick. We'll have our pick from all of this. So I need to decide if I want to include this knot. It's pretty cool. So I may cut out a sliver that's got the knot in it. So let me go to the miter saw and cut this off, and then we'll have a look. Maybe about 4 inches. That'll give us a nice little shelf. If he wants to set, like I said, a shotgun shell or something on it, just for decoration. So we're going to make about a 4-inch shelf piece. So slide that back off. So 4 inches would get us the knot from this side. Obviously it wouldn't from that side, but man, I think I kind of like the knot. Let's go with that. And I'm just going to take this back to the miter saw and cut it again. All right, so we've got our piece here. We've got a nice straight edge on the sides. We were able to keep that knot in there, which I think is super cool. And then we do have the natural curve of the front edge. It's not squared off, and that's okay with me because that's the shape the board was. So we're going to keep it that way. We could have done a squared off edge if we wanted to, but I think I'm going to keep it with a little bit of variance. And then this is just going to be able to sit on the bottom of our round piece, just like this. And this is the side you would see, of course. And so think that'll be pretty cool. Let me get this cleaned up, and then we'll get on to our next step, which is really putting this thing together and getting it sprayed. So let's do that. So I just decided to use the dowels to put everything together. Now I have the Milescraft dowel jig. That's the one I end up using the most. I've got several Milescraft products. I also have the Milescraft circle jig. It's the primary thing I use for making larger circles and cutting out circles. So I've always liked the Milescraft stuff that I've gotten. I haven't had any problems with it. I know some people may disagree, but it's worked out well for me. We're just going to get our two half circles together here to create kind of that base or that backing for the whole mount. And here we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to use some dowels to put on the shelf with a little bit of Type Bond 3. And that will be plenty strong enough for this application. Clean up a little bit of the glue squeeze out. And since it's that old barnwood, it's got a few little crevices there. We just gotta get that out. All right, so we're at the point in this project where we're ready to mount the fan. Now, here's one thing with turkey fans. Typically, after you cut the fan off, when you're breaking down your turkey, you would actually, a lot of people I've seen take a piece of board, they lay their fan out, they spread their feathers out to get them nice and even or however they want them on their fan, and then they use some screws or nails to kind of keep the feathers aligned like they want them to be while the tail is drying or while the fan is drying. That way when it dries, it's in the position they want. Now, like I said, this one is one that my nephew brought me, and as you can see, it's got a kind of a gap here. Now, I don't know if he maybe lost the feather. That's what it looks like. Maybe one came loose when they were processing. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to try to bring that gap together and just make it cosmetically look a little bit nicer for him. So instead of just mounting it on the back and then putting our cover piece on, I'm going to actually flip it over and try to screw a few screws in strategically in a couple places down towards the base of this fan and kind of spread those feathers over a little bit. I'm going to try to do that on the small block, our front piece, and then mount everything to the big base. And maybe those feathers will hold in a nicer, kind of more uniform pattern for us. So we're going to give that a shot. I don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to try that and see if we can't make it look a little more even for him. All right, so we've got our fan mounted. Everything looks good. It's where I wanted it. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to just clean it up, give it a little bit of a clear coat. All right, guys, well, I've got it done. The turkey fan has been mounted. Everything's clear coated and dried. I think it looks pretty sweet. I've already sent a picture to my nephew, so I know he's going to enjoy it and have it hanging on the wall in his room. This was a fun little project. It's always fun when you get to do something for family or for friends, and you also get to make a cool video out of it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Be blessed.